Welcome to Behind the Pyramids. We are on location in the West Lot at Moody Gardens. I am joined by Sally with the Galveston Bay Foundation.
Oh.
Right now, I am seeing thousands upon thousands of oysters behind me.
Yes.
I am seeing people get down and dirty to do some hard day work.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah, so this is our Oyster Shell Recycling Program. The pile here is from a lot of hard work that Moody Gardens has put in. We have 10 restaurant partners on the island that recycle shell with us. And so Moody goes around to all of those restaurants, collects the shell, brings it back here to site, lets it cure in the sun for about 6 months before we put it back into the bay. So the reason that we have it curing in the sun is so that it removes any bacteria or harmful pathogens that we don't want to put into our waters.
See, I wouldn't even think about that that would be necessary because you pulled these out from the water, but you forget there's other things out there as well.
Right, and you know, they come from the restaurant, so they could be coming from the East Coast or the Pacific Coast, and you know, they're from wherever the restaurant source their oysters.
Oh, that is very true. So, okay,
Yeah.
I'm looking behind me right now. I'm seeing people do some really hard work, like Methodist volunteers. They're all Methodist volunteers today.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the process out here that they're doing?
Yeah, so the process is we are bagging these oyster shells, and then the bags are going to go back into the water. We're putting these in a reef formation on the Moody Gardens Golf Course. So this is a really cool partnership because it is full circle. Moody Gardens employees are the ones that are recycling the shell, and we're putting it back out into the water on the golf course. So it's been a really fun process to work with y'all.
That is awesome. So about how many do you think go into a bag? And like, I see a huge pile right there.
Yeah.
So the next steps after this process are?
Right. So we're putting the shell in the buckets, and those weigh about 30 pounds. And from the buckets, they go into the bags, and each of these bags is going to be hand placed into the water. So that's where we need some more volunteers. So we have a few days that we're going to actually be deploying the bags into the water on the golf course. And those are going to be in a kind of a low-lying reef formation. And this is really going to help with providing habitat for the oysters as well as protecting the shoreline from erosion.
So it's all about like replenishing the oysters that are out there in the Galveston Bay area.
Right. Galveston Bay has a naturally abundant amount of oysters, but we have had some trouble over the past few years. You know, oysters are a resilient animal, but they are susceptible to salinity changes. So in times of high drought and it's really salty, they can struggle, and in times of a lot of flood, when the water's rushing into the bay and it's very fresh, they can also be in trouble. So they're kind of need a Goldilocks state. And for the oysters, we really can't do much to help the water flow or the salinity, but what we can do is provide them with substrate. Oysters need a hard substrate to attach to.
Yeah.
Their larva is floating around in the water column, and it can settle onto something hard like oyster shell. So that's why we put it back in the water, to provide them a place to settle and to grow into a full reef, into adult oysters.
Wow. Okay, so I'm feeling the sun barrel down on me.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a curing process. Like
Yes.
these piles that are right here have been cured in the sun for about 6 months,
Yes,
is
they
what you
have.
would say.
Yeah.
And that kills all the bacteria?
Yeah, so we actually just completed a study, and we're continuing on with it with University of Houston to try and determine best management practices for the curing. So the sun is helpful, but what's also helpful is when you mount it up in the piles, the humidity in the middle of those piles really kind of breaks down any tissue that's left on the oysters or any bacteria, and removes it from going back in the bay.
All right, so the next process, you know, we have volunteers right here doing the cured oysters, but then you'll need help at maybe the golf course?
Yeah, so in a couple weeks, we'll have 3 more days of deployment. So we need volunteers to take these shell bags from our site here to the golf course and put them in the water to form the reef.
So how do people volunteer?
Yeah, so you can find us at galfbay.org and follow our volunteer link. We have these deployment days that are up there that you can sign up for. And we also have a bunch of other volunteer opportunities. Galveston Bay Foundation has a lot. We really rely on our volunteer support. and we really couldn't do our projects without y'all.
That is awesome. So if you want to come out, you may not have to bag them. You may actually get to go under the water.
Water.
Oh my gosh, that's bring your swimsuit.
That's right.
And if you'd like to help volunteer, go to galbay.org. You'll get yourself all set up to help out. I mean, this is an amazing opportunity. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church groups, friend groups can all volunteer. Get to spend some time out, but also helping the environment as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sally.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.